Let's get into this series, Vicky. The team that loses here will be knocked out and they won't get the wonderful opportunity to face the Dallas Fuel a little bit later on. It's going to be a hype one. And Paris Eternal, they've been looking so good over the last couple of months. Improvements. Month, I was going to say week, and I guess it kind of is. Week on week on week on week. Tournament after tournament after tournament, Vicky.
Yeah, we were looking at the Paris Eternal and how their progress has just expanded over the entire season. You were talking about it earlier, actually. In the main melee, I believe, they went 1-3, but then they kind of evolved. They started figuring things out. In the June Joust, they went 2-2. Meanwhile, they're doing so much better in the Summer Showdown. They're currently 3-1, and they want to have that opportunity to go through this regional knockout bracket and make it to Hawaii, because the competition's looking strong. Come to the series, whoever wins here is going to have to face against the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, let's have a look at the roster, though. You can see the Paris Eternal on your screens and two key players on the squad that I will talk a little bit more in depth a bit later on. Onigod and Naga. Naga has just had an upward hill climb ever since he started playing in Contenders way back in 2018. He came in last place in 2018, Season 2, and now he's slowly moving up. Now he's in Overwatch League, doing extremely well. He's only had climbs in Ranked and in Overwatch League, I guess, and Overwatch in general, compared to Overwatch in general. This guy is insane. And 2020, before he actually joined the Overwatch League, he got second place in the Gauntlet in EU on a Bay Alliance. This guy is an absolute nutcase. It's almost the complete opposite, in fact, with Onigod, who has been a very successful player almost from the get-go, playing in Apex on Reunited, and then being a part of Angry Titans, one of the most successful teams in Contenders to date. Let's have a look at Justice, though, their opponents for today. Vicky, you've got the starters up on your screen right now. Decay, Assassin, Mag, Fury, Bebe, and Closer.
Oh, this is going to be great, too. They just beat the LA Gladiators yesterday. This is a team that has... They started out pretty strong. In the main melee, I believe they started off 4-0, and then things just did not work out for them going forward throughout the rest of the season. And now they want to replicate that. Looking at the Paris Eternal and their progress, and now the Washington Justice, they got some things going on. Specifically, Decay that I want to highlight, who has been amazing. We highlighted also Assassin that has been absolutely on Sombra, the best Sombra, by the way, by margin. So, as we set up going into our first series of today, Jaws, and whoever comes out of this has to face off against a team like the Dallas Fuel, and I feel like that's a lot of pressure for both of these teams that have been making that progress, have been making those adjustments to get a lot better as the season progresses.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Justice and where they actually landed themselves at the start of the year. They did manage to qualify for the main melee, and they went undefeated in the qualifiers, right? I mean, this is where you want to be again. The Justice, though, haven't found that same success, but adding back in Decay to the lineup, you can imagine they're going to do well here. And Assassin, like Johnny pointed out on the desk, just doing unbelievably well on the Sombra. His Sombra is ridiculous. A true silly hero specialist. He can play the Doom as well, and there's not really much stopping him if he's set up well by the rest of his team. You look at their teamfight win record after first elim in the Summer Showdown, it's 95%, a little bit under. That is insane. They find the first elim and they win the team fights just under 95% of the time. Ridiculous stat line coming across.
Actually insane. And the Paris Eternal being able to also make this comeback, being able to finally get themselves together. This is a bunch of these players, actually, that I was able to commentate over during the Contender season of 2020. Being able to watch all of the Paris Eternal. I really wanted to cover section. Another team, Washington Justice, who've been pretty consistent as of lately, and we're already getting set up here, wasting no time. The teleporters are coming out, Jaws, and the fighting is going to commence. Washington Justice have lost the first member. It's going to be Assassin and Naga, who has been so consistent too on this May ever since Contenders. This is the threat that you want to keep your eyes out for. Onigod also going to get the K. Washington Justice, they wanted to try to get out of the situation, but the Paris Eternal aren't going to let them get away like that.
Yeah, they do manage to find the first pick on Assassin. Probably the worst player you could lose. If you are the Justice, or the worst hero you could lose, you need that wall to isolate the tanks. So him getting randomly picked off there. Stray Icicle and a little bit of extra damage. May is a little bit chunky, of course, being 250 HP rather than the standard 200 HP, so a little bit more hardy. Can take a lot of focus fire to get it down, especially through that block, but Assassin got picked off super early. Walls come out again, as Assassin is trying to get the freeze onto Darn, but doesn't quite find it.
Look at what damage Onigod's putting on, and now the Photon Barrier coming in. Assassin's found the head onto Naga, and Mag is frozen from that blizzard that Naga sent out. Paris Eternal, look at the way that they're spreading the Justice thin. This is a team currently that is struggling to get through that choke point. They can do it with the mirror, but the Shatter is gonna stop the Justice. There's nowhere further to go. The Paris Eternal now being able to win a second team fight. They're doing such a good job of not letting the Justice really get anything started here.
Yeah, it's just super hard to come into these this point. The small choke, and you have a Mei wall to isolate the tanks. Normally you'd kind of want to wall early if you're Justice, and then try and navigate around the other one. Just stop the Mei from setting up her wall perfectly, but tough situation now. Washington Justice do have this Photon Barrier, plus that Blizzard coming online rather soon as well. There it is. Decay, Photon Barrier comes out. Naga's already dead.
And with on shield, it's taking a lot of damage. They have that teleporter. They're going to immediately that Decay. Being able to control so much space with that Photon Barrier. The Mei wall too from Assassin. He's going to hold on to this Blizzard because they know the Paris Eternal, they're spread out, and that's why that Mei could help isolate some of those that are susceptible to getting hit, like Khan right there at the very end with Decay getting 2 with the turret.
Yeah, luckily enough though, Drijo's actually managed to save the sound barrier there. So at least they have some kind of countermeasure against Assassin's Blizzard in this next fight. But it looks like they want to go fairly early, Vicky. There's the Shatter.
Hopefully with my internet, I can actually see everything going on right now. The sound barrier coming in, the Shatter from Mag. They're going to have the wall come up. The Paris Eternal have already made their way over to the point. Washington Justice, they need to back off. Dawn's taking a lot of damage, and the Diva Bombs come out, but the Photon Barrier has helped protect the Paris Eternal. Naga's also found Assassin, and Assassin won't be there with the beat. The Justice can help at least keep that sustainability, but Jaws, the Paris Eternal, they're playing a lot spread out too, and Onigod's still narrowing down his focus on finding Decay.
Yeah, close to let it go with that beat super late. He didn't manage to catch any people because half of them were dead already. The Paris Eternal now one fight away, and they have Blizzard, and they have Shatter. Like, this is the perfect setup for them. Decay's wall's going to have to be pretty massive here. Maybe Assassin goes in for this counter Blizzard, but Darn can just end their whole careers with a big Shatter on this corner. There it is!
Oh, no, wait, in front of the shield though! That's not going to do it here. Now the Shatter's been wasted. Meanwhile, the Bear from Decay is going to allow the Washington Justice to try to pull the great Mei wall from Naga is going to stop their entry. Meanwhile, the Immortality Field's already been used up. Mag has to watch out, but it's closer. He's found Dawn. That's the main tank out for the Paris Eternal. Hopefully with this Blizzard, they can try to secure some of these picks, but Decay and Bebe finding Naga and Khan, that's huge because they won't have the Immortality Field either. Paris Eternal, they're still finding these numbers, but you have to worry about the stats to end this Blizzard. Maybe Washington Justice, they could flip it, and they do so successfully, but Paris Eternal already at 99% Jaws.
They keep winning these fights with Blizzard, without using it, sorry. The Justice are now sitting on Window and a Blizzard, and they're going to be able to get Photon Barrier off this fight, potentially. Like, they're in a very good spot right now. I think the Paris Eternal almost take this fight a little bit dry here and then go in for one final fight. 60% on the board. They've almost got beat. They've got Window. They just need something to force out this Blizzard from Assassin.
He's been holding on to it for a bit, too. Mag taking so much damage. You have to be careful with that window out. Both windows and both teams respecting. Look at how they're waiting on the corners. Decay. Also, with those turrets already set up, Paris Eternal are opting to go for a different rotation with Vestola off to the side. Dawn taking a lot of damage. He's already taken out.
It was too late.
Fury found him. Yeah, the sound barrier, unfortunately, was used right after Dawn had already died. Now, you also have the Washington Justice not only dealing with so much pressure with these Blizzards, but they have the sound barrier too. Closer had that in the pocket. Paris Eternal, with that lead, it's slowly trickling away from them.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, Vicky. This should be just last fight now. The Justice, they're going to let Paris Eternal touch, but they forced Darn back. They killed him off, and now they should be able to rotate back pretty easily. Naga already used his Ice Block. He's got 1% away to the Blizzard. He gets it, but no, Fury denies it with the Eat. Naga's going to fall after that as well as the Self-Destruct comes out. Should be just a celebratory firework as it crashes high in the sky, but Vestola somehow kills 2.
Finding both of the tanks, that's huge because Mag won't have the Shatter now for this fight. They've lost Assassin and Paris Eternal on their last legs. We're able to capture this point. The Justice, they're just hanging right outside the point, but they can't touch Paris Eternal. Take the first round. They had the lead at first, but the Washington Justice, they made some adjustments. They brought it so close. Paris Eternal, though, still taking it.
1 point lead. Now on control, a good bit of momentum. That was a ridiculous bomb from Vestola there. Just unbelievable. That was the only thing that could really have saved him from that fight. The Justice looked like they had it won. The previous engagement that forced Dan all the way back to his spawn, and they end up killing him off. They used the beat, they used the blizzard to try and secure it, and they thought they had it. See, self-destruct up in the air, and it doesn't even look like Mag knew where that was. He was quite healthy as well. Felt like he was trying to turn his shield towards Eternal to try and stop a lot of damage coming through, but yeah, the bomb just did not end up getting blocked, and he ended up going down. Okay, it looks like Justice gonna roll back to spawn. Maybe a monkey? Okay, so they're going full dive here almost. Quite a dependable backline too.
Assassin's on the Sombra now too. So they're gonna be running that Sombra Tracer that Reinforce was highlighting, by the way. I totally agree here that this team has been able to really shine on this composition.
Has been crazy. Like, so good. And Dan is going to have a very tough time actually getting anything done. It's going to be up to Only God and Naga a lot of the time to try and stop Assassin getting these manual hacks off. The ball goes in, finds the slam, and Naga's in trouble. Transocate may be destroyed because he didn't zip back to it.
Oh my gosh, well, I'm seeing this in 40 FPS too. My two Assassins backing off. They found that first pick onto Decay, so the Washington Justice are trying to build into some of these ultimates. Mag having to be a little careful. Now that they have Paris Eternal with Khan on the Zen, they have to worry about that Discord Orb too. Big anti onto the support line, and Don got called out. Fury's gonna find him as Don got hacked too, and that's something else that's gonna buy into this composition when both these teams are gonna face off against each other. It's that Sombra. Naga's also gonna match out with his own Sombra, and Onigod has a pulse bomb. He tries to let it loose, and he finds closer anyways. He didn't even need the stick right there, Jaws. He was able to get it right behind him when he was trying to retreat.
Yeah, Mag's going to go down as well. The Paris Eternal looking so good. Hack onto Only God. Assassin does take him out, but will it matter? That's the question. Fury even used the self-destruct in that fight too to try and stabilize. I don't know about that one. That seemed a little bit of wasteful. The rest of your team were already backing off. Oh dear. They're going to be able to at least get Fury back. Like, he's going to have mech soon. Justice still in a fairly decent spot. But right now, Drijo and Assassin, they're going to have a little duel here. This EMP versus this rally. You want to rally early so the armor stacks up, and then the EMP is way less impactful. It depends how Assassin actually approaches this. He can hear break on the high ground, so spotting her out first, even getting a manual hack would be perfect, but Vestola's doing his best to try and spy check too.
See the pulse bomb from Decay. EMP. It lands on both of the supports, and that's the best thing that we could have seen. But he doesn't find Drijo down. He gets hit with an anti, though. Despite that, Drijo pops the rally. Mag is going to be able to jump onto Drijo, so that way that rally armor won't be able to get onto the rest of Paris Eternal. Paris Eternal now, with Khan trying to come back from the spawn, have to wait out on some of those supports. Onigod has this pulse bomb. If he could find an essential pick here, they could continue their contention on this point, because Washington Justice, they haven't even been able to flip this point at all within this second round here, Jaws. Vestola's found Fury too. They trade that for Onigod, and Naga to go out too. Another big anti that Bib has been so consistent with. Meanwhile, the Nano boost onto closer here. Okay.
Yeah, just keep him alive.
Just have him stay in this fight here. And they were so close to trying to flip the point here, Jaws, but they couldn't do it.
Yeah, that Nano had to be used. I would have loved it if Justice could actually just save that for this next fight, but Closer was just getting hounded in the corner. Like, there was nothing really much he could do. And not only that, Vestola was actually body blocking a lot of those heals. So Bebe just kind of had to leap around and quickly nano just to make sure Closer stayed alive. Nice little anti once again from Bebe. His antis have been extraordinarily good. No follow-up, but it doesn't matter. It just costs them a little bit of time. Pulse bomb from Only God. Does it? Oh, no, it does! What? It didn't even connect, but it killed Bebe anyway.
I thought Bebe was trying to back off. Meanwhile, he still found Closer too. He's taking careful support from the Washington Justice, and Paris Eternal are at 99% for capturing this point. Uses the recall, avoids a Diva Bomb, and he's still holding forward. He is not letting the rest of the Washington Justice get away with this, because they want them to stagger as long as possible with overtime now ticking away.
Only absolute god mode at the end. Kills Bebe with Pulse, instantly then kills Closer, who's a Brig, which is pretty hard to do as a Tracer sometimes. Overtime is here, EMP comes out, hits 3.
Oh, now here's that time. Naga 2 with the EMP. Washington Justice, they're falling like flies. Assassin and Bebe aren't in this fight. Paris Eternal with the rally are going to help sustain, and they have the Transcendence. This is too tough for the Washington Justice to stay on this point.
Oh, Paris are going to take the first map as well. They push the Justice off. That is the momentum we wanted to see. Assassin Sombra, yeah, Johnny may have talked it up in the pre-game, but it didn't really seem like he had anything on the DPS line of the Paris Eternal there. EMPs were pretty good, but there was little to no follow-up. Paris Eternal played this map so well on 2 different comps too. Justice are a team that I mentioned at the very start. They have a very, very high team fight win rate after the first elimination. Can't get that first elim though. They do struggle a little bit some of the time. Fury using his self-destruct in like a self-destruct in a 1v4 scenario. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Naga and Only God just performing out of their minds.
Yeah, while we get set up and we go on to map number 2, guys, don't go anywhere. Washington Justice versus the Paris Eternal go on to fight against the Dallas Foe. We'll see who comes out of the series just on the other side of this break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed. We help people get jobs.
안녕하십니까? Mic check, please.
We did only not without you.
Yeah. Marpe?
What?
Okay, when you do mic test, say mic test and then count to 1 through 5. Iggy, go.
Mic test, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Be mic test.
So cute.
Piggy doesn't know
Yeah.
5.
뭔 말했지?
Like, what's
So sorry, can we have Dan sit properly? His foot's gonna be on the stream, unless you want that.
Oh, if we lose, we have to go dumpster, find food. If we just play PvE.
Group run if we lose. I bet 3 people gotta faint and then we can be done with the run.
Okay, Piggy, Crimzo. Who's last? Kyle's going down before me.
I think I'm not playing dirty.
Kyle's leave. Kyle's gonna be trucking him on.
I got a lot of gas in the tank, bro. You're going down.
Got a lot of gas in the tank. You got a lot of junk in the trunk. What you got?
고잉.
긴장이 됩니다. 긴장이 돼요.
즐겨. 뭘 긴장을 해.
예, 나기 동안.
긴장의 반대말은 짧을 단.
한긴.
와우. 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 야, 우리 팀 이상해. 평균 나이대가 이상한 것 같은데.
아, 나 진짜 우리 팀이 드립 치는 것 때문에 짜증나 죽겠어 그냥.
맞아.
Don't move.
Stop slapping my thigh.
Stop. Hi, Roston.
Hi, Hongjun. Let's go.
Hi, Chris.
Hello.
You, Chris.
You too.
Yeah.
Make sure we don't play scared at all, okay? I saw Piggy near, like if we just push it, we kill him.
I scared headshot.
Don't scare.
You're a tank!
No!
You're a tank player!
Oh,
Hey!
too loud.
I will take one.
하나, 둘, 셋, 가자.
You hear my knee popping?
Oh, stop.
That's normal.
Alarm, don't drop this fight. Haha. I will. You drop tournament. Nice.
Turn your music off before the match starts.
Oh, obviously, I'm not gonna put the music on. Why is Piggy turning off his BZ? What are you doing?
No, music.
Piggy!
Hey,
What
Piggy.
are you doing?
Piggy, PC boom. He's coming back.
What are you doing?
Hey, what is wrong with you?
Why are you
He's
turning
coming.
off?
He's coming.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Hey guys, welcome back after that short break. Unfortunately, Vicky won't be joining us or joining any of us for the time being. Her internet is being a bit funny, so we've subbed in the wonderful Johnny. Wow, that rhymed. Did you see that, Johnny? That's pretty sick, right?
Oh yeah, it rhymed. This is why they pay you the big bucks. You love to see it, Joss. Thank you.
Oh
my god, I looked the wrong way! I looked the wrong way! No, I did Acosta. Oh no! I can't believe I've done this.
Well, you've had every hat on this season, and I think removing the caster hat might be a good idea. That was egregious. Well,
I was about to be here and be joyful, just to tell you that England were up 1-0. Like, they're doing
thanks,
great,
Johnny.
the lads. Yeah.
Woo!
So
Now I'm
but
upset
then-
because you've ruined this whole segment.
Really?
How did they deal with
Do
you
you
on the
think
desk?
that lowly? Okay, never mind. We're not going to go into our chemistry. There you go.
All right. Let's have a look at Darn's player resume presented by Indeed, Johnny. Look at that. 2020 Contenders EU Season 1, third place on Exoblivione. And he played in the World Cup in 2019 for the Netherlands.
Yeah, I've been massively impressed with Don this season. You know, he's been playing a good main tank when it comes to the heroes itself, but also his smarts, you know. We saw that clip against the LA Gladiators, how he called for the last minute substitution over to this Pharah dive composition, right? So he's willing to flex to multiple main tank roles, make sure that his team also has the edge when it comes to the composition. So yeah, I've been excited with Don so far this season.
Yeah, the whole Paris Eternal have just shone, I think. Khan as well has just been an absolute beast on the Ana. Of course, we saw Vestola there save the Paris Eternal on Oasis with that two-man self-destruct. But we're into map number 2 now. Hanamura is going to be the one, and we've seen a couple of different styles of comps as well, from both teams. You bigged up Assassin Sombra, not really worked out well so far, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, the composition was a bit haywire on Oasis, dare I say. You know, I am a critic for the Washington Justice, but it's only because I care so much about this team. I think they have great potential to become one of the best teams in the league, but Paris Eternal, I think they showed that they had the upper hand when it came to the Wrecking Ball composition, Naga being able to flex over to that Sombra, and knowing the Paris Eternal, they could very well come out playing a Reinhardt composition here. They love their Symmetra strats, so the Paris Eternal, I know this is Washington Justice map, by the way. They have loser's pick, of course, because they lost on Oasis, but I feel like this is still a pretty good map for the Paris Eternal, don't you think?
I do think a lot about that. I do think a lot, Johnny. Like you, I have a giant brain. Most of it I don't use, which is the problem. You use most of it. And look, Assault in both teams map type this season. Both teams have about 67% win rate right now with a record of 8-3-1. So they're looking pretty good. That'll definitely go down as soon as one team does end up losing in this map. But a good momentum start as well for the Paris Eternal. Getting 1-0 up on the Justice. I want to see what everybody's kind of predicted. Not the Des, but like the community-wide as a whole as well. Because I think a lot of people, including the Des, thought Justice might just clean sweep this. But the Paris Eternal putting up a much better fight here.
Yeah, but I don't think the predictions really made it clear how good the Paris Eternal are. We've seen some very impressive performances from them in the Summer Showdown Qualifiers. And we're about to see their smarts with the Symmetra as we get towards the point.
Yeah, TP onto high ground, set Onigod and Naga up for success. I think they're just waiting for this TP and a little bit of poke damage too. Yeah, trying to get the splash damage through the little grates there. That's pretty smart. There's the TP. They go to the back line, or at least try to. Dan's in a little bit of trouble. Immortality Field already used, and it's down. And now Naga going pretty low too. And later Immortality Field from the Paris Eternal isn't going to work out in their favor as Dan ends up biting the dust. Decay does get traded, but the Washington Justice still have their main tank alive. Mag's shield does end up dying as they open up the window. Mag is also dead. He was so close to that Shadow as well. Onigod pushing onto the point, using the damage boost from the window to force the rest of the Justice back.
It's incredible rotation from the Paris Eternal because they lose a couple of men early. Onigod goes down though. It seems like Washington Justice are still in this fight. Man disadvantage, but they're still going. Baby gets a click into Onigod and it's all open for grabs.
Yeah, it might be. Fury trying to push everybody around, trying to boot Khan away from the rest of the team and actually manage to find the D-Mech on Vestola as well. 2 ticks on the ball for the Paris Eternal as a wall comes up. The Blizzard is matched by the Justice. The Paris Eternal, everything's going to get frozen up. But the problem is, Closer, he's frozen too. If they can focus him down, they might just be able to save themselves from this beat. It doesn't quite happen as the 6-man beat and a Shadow comes out as well. A perfect block from Dans. He goes for a Shadow of his own, but doesn't quite manage to make it land. Now 2 walls end up coming out as well as finally members start to fall. Dan and Tridro go down as the Paris Eternal, with 2 minutes left on the time bank, have only managed to secure 66% on this point.
I can't believe that the Washington Justice were able to come back and they're about to clean up Onigod here as well. Bastola flees for his life, trying to save that mech. Still though, Khan potentially stuck here. Now he gets out with his life still intact. Wow, what an incredible fight. I mean, Paris Eternal, they found a couple of picks early there from Washington Justice overextending, but being able to buy that time, that's what we love to see from the Washington Justice, being able to draw out these fights, narrow down, find an advantage, find some picks, and then they end up turning that fight. Tons of ultimates invested as well. Bastola still has the self-destruct here for Paris Eternal. You got as well as the ultimate here from Baptiste comes out from Khan, and now they're about to put in all the damage.
All the damage. Oh, nice headshot by Naga. Managed to get it through the window and Assassin ends up going down. Self-destruct to try and buy some space. Oh. Beautiful shadow by Mag. The bomb follow-up as well kills Stridro. What a defense there from the Justice. They don't even use the Blizzard either. They got 10% before it even comes out. That was the ultimate I was looking for, Johnny, for the Justice to open things up. An amazing, amazing charge from Mag. Pins Onigod, takes him out and gets the flank shadow as well. 1 minute remains now for the Paris Eternal.
We've been questioning Mag playing that Reinhardt so far this season. He typically plays the Wrecking Ball and the Winston, but really delivering for his team there. Assassin finds a pick onto Naga as well. A minute on the timer. You don't have time for this if you're the Paris Eternal. You need to build up these ultimates. Naga is 90% on the way to the Blizzard, and it looks like we're gonna come down to last fight territory.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way you just don't wait for Naga right now. He is 5% away from his Blizzard. He's going to be able to get it in this fight, but it's going to be Blizzard for Blizzard. And no sound barriers either on the other side. Vistola's going to have to go absolute god mode here with this self-destruct. Maybe try and kite people away as the Justice do lay out the Blizzard. They do make their way onto the point eventually, but Assassin used that Blizzard right on top of Dan. He's instantly frozen and instantly killed by Closer. 2 spheres have been created on the point. A lot of zone denial, but the support from the Paris Eternal are in a little bit in trouble. Forced to use the Immortality Field as they try and take out try and help Vistola, but he's instantly taken out by Assassin, who's just waiting on the point for the Paris Eternal to engage. This is problems right now. Khan's already dead too. Someone's going to have to get the touch. No, they can't.
No one touches.
It looked like Drijo was going to be able to get back onto the point, but Khan ends up getting taken out by Decay. A damage boosted right click through the window, eradicating him. And the Paris Eternal, they don't even cap this first point, Johnny.
Bit of a surprise, to be honest. I mean, I would have favored the Paris Eternal when it came to these Rhino compositions, but really it is the Washington Justice who positively surprises the way they take these fights. I think they did a beautiful job right there, disengaging from the point, realizing they have time to find that advantage in the fight once more. DK puts up a beautiful Symmetra wall, and then they're able to collapse onto the Paris Eternal and push when they get the positional advantage, when they're able to find value from their ultimates. The Paris Eternal, a little bit in shambles there, a bit spread out. Vestola had his own diva adventures, of course, in that fight, so Washington Justice now just need about 80%, cap point A here, and get away and tie up the series.
Yeah, they must be feeling pretty good, and I think a lot of that, Johnny, was actually off the back of Assassin too. He managed to get a free Blizzard down without Vistola eating it. He also isolated Dan super quickly as well. Dan went for this big charge in to try and pin someone against the backboard, but didn't manage to get there. Oh, that's the beautiful pin into the two-man shadow, yeah. Absolutely
That's a great
disgusting.
play. You love to see it from Mag. I mean, combining the charge with the shatter, what more can you ask for? And really, this is a big thing about the Washington Justice for me in the Summer Showdown knockout as well, because they've said openly in the interviews, they're practicing the Reiner compositions, they're practicing the Orisa compositions. They want to be this complete team that can beat their opponents with compositions besides from the Sombra, besides from the Tracer. So really proving their point here on their defense on Hanamura early.
Justice is going to be letting the gate for free. Didn't even need a key. They do just slowly rotate. They don't go for this teleporter strategy up onto the high ground, because they would just let in the gates. And there you go. Charge straight onto Dan. He's in trouble. Shield's melting at a rapid rate as Decay is just shooting at his shield with the left click. Now he's TPing to high ground. Now Khan's in a little bit of trouble. Forced to use the Immortality Field, but Decay right behind you. Kel ends up taking him out, and Mag ends up taking out Dan too. This is very winnable for the Justice now. If they can just get back into the point, or even find one more pick. Only got his extremely low. He's getting booped around the whole time, and Fury just desperately trying to kill him, and he does manage to.
Oh, wow, they barely hold on to Paris Eternal. Some crucial picks there. Washington Justice, they lacked a little bit of damage with Decay going down in that fight. Assassin couldn't quite close it out, but now you've built up plenty of ultimates. Yes, Onigod, he has his Symmetra wall. Yes, Naga, you have the Blizzard. But Washington Justice, they're about to close in on their own ultimates, with Baby getting his and Assassin filling up that Blizzard. Now you've got 2:45 on the timer. I think you're pretty happy to commit here if you're the Washington Justice. Try to win this fight, because you've got a couple of more attempts to go with.
Yeah, 10 times out of 10 you go for this one. There's the Blizzards, there's the walls, there's the windows. They're building an entire house on the point. Mag's dead though. The Dan is traded. Still high ground advantage for the Washington Justice here as Khan ends up going down. It's a big pick. The Blizzard comes through. Vestola narrowly misses the eat. Tridro forced to use the sound barrier, but it only hits himself and only God. They're rather chunky in this fight, Johnny, but the problem is the rest of the Justice, they hit a 5-man beat and rush on forward. This could just be it. They could tie themselves up in the series right now. Naga falls as well, and the final members of the Eternal trying to get a touch on the point. I don't think it's going to work out for them though. Dan charging back, not going to be there as Closer boops him away, and the Washington Justice, they tie the series up one apiece.
Dominant performance from the Washington Justice. Exactly what you want to see if you are a Justice fan. Paris Eternal, I mean, it's tough when the Khan goes down that early in that fight. Still though, I think both of these teams are going head to head with each other in these Reinhardt compositions, just setting ourselves up for a fantastic ending to this series.
Insane. I see Decay's play of the game. He's just lasering people. Feels pretty good. I mean, those fights are so chaotic, and you make one small misstep, almost like Mag did in the fight prior to them actually winning. He just gets frozen out. He gets pushed out of lamp because of the boop, and he just gets instantly taken down. The Justice now tying the series up 1-1. We're going to jump to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with map number 3.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
The clock is ticking, and we're less than a week away from the Summer Showdown tournament. Will you end up picking the winner correctly, or flip-flop like the desk? My advice is not to do that. Stick with your picks. Head to pick'em.overwatchleague.com to submit your picks for a chance to win $500 and a very cool Lucio statue as well. Johnny, Have you done your pick'ems? How well are you doing?
Have.
Well, in fact, I know how well
Terrible.
you're doing. Don't copy Johnny. Is the play there?
It's funny because I'm trying to make these YouTube videos, you know, and I'm trying to push it, but it's not working.
You're trying to will it into existence. Well, sometimes that's never not working out. Let's have a look at the power rankings with IBM Watson. This is for Ana specifically, and you can see number 6 and number 8. We have Khan and Bebe there.
Yeah, and this is actually quite interesting because these are two Anas that have had polar opposite stories when it comes to Ana and the power rankings with IBM Watson. Bebe actually, in week 3 and 4 when he took his debut on the Ana power rankings, he actually had a rating about 130, okay? He would have been the #1 Ana at this point. But then it's dropped, of course, you get more sample size, etc. And Bebe now sits at 100. Whereas Khan, you know, the Paris Eternal, they started off a bit rough here in Overwatch League 2021, but as they found their footing, Khan is on the rise here. Number 6 currently could easily overtake Shu and Alarm going into next week.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Taking over 2 of the best Anas in the world. Pretty crazy. Also, the amount of high-level Ana play that we have in the league is also ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Like Twilight coming back too. You
Fielder.
compete against all these, like, what you think of, like, God Ana players. And your Khan coming in from contenders and matching up against some of the big boys, like, that is crazy. An unreal feat. The Paris Eternal, like you mentioned as well, Johnny, they've been doing better and better and better as the months have gone on. We mentioned it at the start of the show, but May Melee, they were 1 and 3. And then Junjiao's 2 and 2. Summer Showdown 3 and 1, like quite easily to see linear progression. They're going upwards, Johnny. They're trying to go for the skies.
Are you saying 4-0 Countdown Cup confirmed?
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Maybe it's possible.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a good point. This team has steadily improved, especially with the additions of Bestola, of course, to the off-tank role. Dredro, since he's come in as well. I mean, these two have been spectacular for this team. So I love this team because the way they play this game, they're so smart. They try to outsmart their opponents with these hero swaps consistently. And it's going to be interesting now as we head over to Hollywood to see what this team actually brings. Because if we remember back in the Summer Showdown qualification matches, we saw Paris Eternal against the San Francisco Shock, right? And the San Francisco Shock, they set a blistering pace. I think they had like 3 minutes 40 or something in the time bank. It was ridiculous. But now, given loser's pick, the Paris Eternal, they opt to go back to Hollywood and face their demons, I suppose. It looks like Dan is going to play this wrecking ball. Last time, actually, when they did play the Shock, we saw more Winston, we saw Echo from Naga. But it seems like this is their answer to the problems the Washington Justice are giving them.
Nice little attempted bait there by Naga. And if you saw the lower third as well when we came into this map, 27% win rate overall for Paris Eternal this Summer Showdown. It's quite scary for them. They haven't got a positive win rate. In fact, quite a lot less than a positive win rate. 27% not looking great at all. The Justice do end up teleporting to Cafe, so they have a pretty good eagle-eye view here now of the Paris Eternal. But the Paris Eternal's comp, Johnny, they just want to kind of slowly poke and then wait for Dan to go for this massive engage, discord someone and blow them up. You can see now Dan trying to get in the back line, doesn't quite land the slam, in fact almost gets walled off. Another teleport from Decay to try and lead them away from the Cafe. But they're still kind of struggling against Naga too. It's finding these nice little hacks on the main tank.
You need to find these picks. I mean, Naga is already at 67% for an EMP here. If you're the Washington Justice, who do you engage on? You pretty much have to find Redro or Vestola. They teleport over to the balcony, they drop onto Vestola, this is the pick they need.
Yeah, they do manage to find the remake window available as well for the bat. Vestola ends up dying too. Nice little ice block pop there from Assassin to keep him alive on the point. It is Dan currently contesting. Naga ends up finding the kill onto Naga, however, and well, big trouble now. You may have lost Assassin, but you still have control of the point. It's up to Paris Eternal to maybe make a re-engagement. They haven't got the EMP, but they use the pulse, but Fury gets a nice eat.
Absolutely, but this is still struggle town for Washington Justice. Paris Eternal could easily engage here, and Naga's about to come back with an EMP as well.
Everybody's super split. Vestola does get remegged. A big EMP. It hits 4. Immortality Field is going to save them for the time being, though. Naga's still on the high ground, just chipping away at the health bars of the Justice, but they're just going to run on forward. A nice Transcendence to save Khan's life as he does zip away from that shatter, but a Blizzard to try and open things up a little bit more. But Johnny, it's just so difficult for them. I guess they found the pick onto Onigod, but the Justice, they are struggling to find anything else on this point.
They're so split up. They're so split up and they couldn't just keep it together playing this Reinhardt composition. Decay swaps over to the Tracer in a last-ditch effort to try and get back to the point, but now he's stuck on this hero. You got this Reinhardt composition, and you can't really swap away from it, because closer he's about to get his sound barrier, Bebe is about to get that amplification matrix, so you have to commit now to this Reinhardt composition. Decay is gonna go back to the Symmetra. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But Paris Eternal, they got a good hold here. Already 130 on the timer left remaining for the Washington Justice. And you're playing this slow, grindy composition. Again, it's about the Symmetra teleporting onto your opponent, but they can't find a pick here, it seems. And now, the Paris Eternal, they can build these ultimates. Rally comes down from Dreidro, and the Paris Eternal looks to find hacks here.
6-man beat, self-destruct from Vestola as well as Fury. Vestola ends up going down, but they trade it for Mag. Not a good start for the Justice at all. The EMP is massive. Decay and Assassin are hacked. Bebe as well. They just round upon him. And the Justice once more struggle to get anything done on this point. Naga is just an absolute menace for them right now. Like you said, it's so hard for them to actually get on top of anybody. The kiting from the Eternal, even without a Lucio, Johnny, is just crazy.
Yeah, it's so hard to play this composition, and the Washington Justice as well. Do they have the chops to make this work? The case swaps over to the McCree. Interesting. I kind of like the McCree here, but you have to acknowledge how vulnerable you are to these dives. Dan is going to come on Wrecking Ball, try to get that pile driver on top of the Washington Justice, and how long can you keep Baby, or Decay rather, alive? Baby has that immortality field. Only God though, he sits on a pulse bomb. Fury has to come in clutch and eat this right now.
Assassin's got the Blizzard. They again make their way onto the point. Nice pulse. Mag doesn't go down. Saved by Immortality Field as Assassin forces Naga to recall. He's waiting for that Matrix to fade away to use the Blizzard, and he does just that. But the problem is, Khan was waiting in the wings for the Transcendence. Bebe is now dead. Justice lose most of their heals, but they at least find a pick. Vestola's on the point, trying to cause mayhem and trying to make sure that Justice don't get any more ticks. He does so successfully as now Furious hacked to maybe focus down. A rally for the Paris Eternal to make them way more hardy, and Mag ends up just getting run over. Bebe dying first in this fight was disastrous for the Justice. A lucky beat comes out for closer, but is it going to be enough? It only heats Baby Diva and himself, and that's going to be it. The Justice, they are held on first as the Paris Eternal navigate around their comp perfectly.
Oh, it's so tough. It's so tough if you're the Washington Justice. I mean, already the first fight, yes, it took some time, but you really had the advantage before Naga was able to build that EMP. Naga, of course, got picked off in the first fight. You could have secured point A here on Hollywood, but instead, Assassin got picked on the May, and then it's just trickle town from there on. Washington Justice weren't able to close it out, and every fight, really, you're playing at such a disadvantage. It's really hard to execute with this Rhino composition. We pointed it out multiple times. You have to rely on this Symmetra to teleport you everywhere. How can you find these picks onto Vestola? How can you find these picks onto Dreidro? And they just weren't able to make it happen. I'd like to point out especially in that last fight how split up they were. Decay goes down to Naga on the Sombra, I believe, out of all people. But Decay, he was on it by himself. This is the main carry for your team. This is the guy you need to keep alive to deal with the Tracer, to deal with the Sombra. And Washington Justice, when it comes down to it, playing against these Tracer, these Sombra compositions, they aren't able to stick together as a team, rely on the teamwork you get with the Lucio aura, of course, the Immortality Field, the Baptiste healing, and instead they split up, and Paris Eternal, again, running away with it, with this down Wrecking Ball. It really seems to be working for them. It seems to be the success story for them here in the Summer Showdown knockouts.
It's looking exceptionally good, and they're going to roll out with it again, Johnny. Oh, maybe not. TP back? Nope. Yes,
just
no, only God.
Come on.
He can't decide. Maybe.
Okay.
Flip a coin.
Also, they're going Ryan. Okay.
There we go. Okay, so they're actually... You guys can't take first. Ha! Laughable. Watch this.
Yeah, I get it though. I think it's a good long-term opener, right? Because we got 4 minutes on the timer. So if you can find a Reinhardt Shatter, if you can outsmart your opponent with these Symmetra teleporters, already putting pressure on the point, wall's gonna come out from Assassin, and now we've already expended that valuable ability, right? So Paris Eternal, a chance to engage here.
Only God. Microwaving. Nice little TP actually to security. Oh, did you see that? It almost baited Fury. Fury dashed back, expecting maybe Only God to pop his head through. Big kill onto Naga to start though. The Solar's mech goes down as well. Okay, so the Justice have won the first fight. They're getting a lot of ult charge as well, and the scary thing is too, look at the amount of damage Assassin has done already. He's 86% on this Blizzard. He's going to have this Blizzard for this next fight, hands down. Naga couldn't really get anything done. The negation from the Justice was just too good. Naga's very far behind.
Absolutely. As you pointed out, the ultimate advantage, of course, I mean, it goes for all players. I mean, Decay at 80%, Mag at 90% on the Shadow as well. But if you're the Paris Eternal, don't fret. You know, this is not the fight you're really looking to win. If you could get some ultimates out there, that'd be great. If you can win,
that's a good boot.
Awesome.
That's a good boot.
Excellent takedown on Fury to start things off. What can you do with it?
Instant demech, and they have window on the high ground as well. Low ground for the Justice. There's no way they go down to a fire strike through there. Blizzard from behind. Assassin, nice wall. Perfect pin as well. Immortality Field is going to save Dan for now, but no. Assassin takes it out. Mag finishes the fight.
Could be.
Or maybe not. A Blizzard comes out as well as that wall from Onigod. They're going to keep themselves alive. Mag didn't receive any of that beat, so didn't really feel confident going back into the fight right away. Khan falls too, and it's the same kind of story as we saw the Justice last time around. As soon as you lose your Batiste, it's much harder for your comp to find success. You don't have enough healing to back you up.
Shatter. Down has the Shatter. This is what it's all about. The Stola gets picked though, and this is not going to be the fight that Paris Eternal wants to commit to. They're going to back off instead. They have the Blizzard up. They have the Earth Shatter, but the Washington Justice, they're looking at an Amplification Matrix and a Stealthy Strike on their own. Now you're really starting to worry, okay? 130 on the timer. You got best case scenario 2 fights to work with here. But if Dan can find a big Shatter here, that could be what secures Hollywood for the Paris Eternal.
Yeah, maybe 2 fights, but these comps take so long to set up, Johnny, so it feels like really only one and a staggered one. Wall used fairly early by Assassin again. Window is unleashed too. Not quite building a house just yet, because there's no sim wall either. See, look at Naga, he's trying to... No, Fury spotted that a mile away! Naga ran to the back line and Fury was just standing behind him with a Matrix. They do end up trading as Decay goes down for Dan, but Fury is still alive, negating a lot of this damage. He can even use the self-destruct for some pressure, but it doesn't matter. That shadow is absolutely huge. Fury follows it up with a self-destruct as well. 3 dead for the Eternal. They have 40 seconds remaining, Johnny, but Justice looking for the fuller hold.
I mean, incredible fireworks from the Washington Justice, but at what cost, really? I mean, you committed the Blizzard from Assassin, you committed the Earth Shatter. So many ultimates to win that fight. You already had an advantage of eating Naga's Blizzard, and now 20 seconds on the timer. Dan still has the Earth Shatter. Decay has a high noon. Who's going to come out on top?
It's going to have to be the biggest one of his career, it feels like, and he's trying to pitch up for it now.
There it is!
There's the shatter. It hits 2. He doesn't find the pin, but a freeze onto Mag is going to be good. But no, Decay was behind the wall that whole time, holding the Deadeye. Dawn ends up going down. Decay's at least traded as the Paris Eternal do use the Blizzard on point. A nice little beat from Closer, though, keeps Mag alive just long enough to save Closer, but it doesn't matter. Naga's Blizzard, it's too good. OT is here, but the Justice are no way near the point. A window for Bebe, but only God runs him down. And at the final seconds of this map, the Paris Eternal managed to find the fight, and the Justice end up falling. The Paris Eternal now on match point in this series.
Victory.
Wow, what a map. Both teams struggling to finalize, capture that point A, but in the last moments, you come in clutch, you are able to take down Decay on that McCree, and that swings the fight. I mean, both teams, really. This is an incredible match, Jaws, we have on our hands. Paris Eternal up 2-1 after winning Hollywood. I can't wait to see where we go next.
Loser's pick, of course, it will be up to the Justice. But the Paris Eternal improving month on month on month on month. Might find them facing the Dallas Fuel a little bit later on today. But first, they have to climb this hill that is the Washington Justice. My word! And Johnny, remember the stat at the very beginning of this map? The Paris Eternal, their hybrid win rate is about 27%. Like, that is low. And the Justice, it looked like they were about to hold, but not looking great. Paris Eternal take the dub. Match point in the series as well. We're going to jump to a break. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this one.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Well, here we are. The Justice right now, teetering on a knife's edge. But the Paris Eternal, they are one map away, Johnny, from facing the Dallas Fuel. We're going to go on to Route 66 as our next map.
Interesting pick if you're the Washington Justice. Loser's pick, of course. A map where you can play a lot of different compositions. We've seen the Gladiators, they like to play their dive compositions here, and for the Washington Justice as well. If you wanted to open the door to committing more to Wrecking Ball, Summer Tracer, you could do that here. But for the Paris Eternal, you gotta keep in mind, this is where they kickstarted the reverse sweep against the Los Angeles Gladiators earlier on in the Summer Showdown Qualifiers. The Gladiators were up 2-0, of course, but the Paris Eternal, they held steadfast on Route 66, playing that Reinhardt composition. Onigod was playing the Torbjörn, Naga was on the May for some time, and then flexing onto the Arisa as well was down. So this is a tough map now, if you are the Washington Justice. You know, delaying their team meeting a little bit here, having a bit of a talk about what they want to do here. I could definitely see them having an extended talk here, discussing, do we want to commit now to the Sombra Tracer? This worked for us yesterday against the Gladiators. Do we fully want to commit to this? But the Paris Eternal, they are fully competent on their own on this Route 66 map, so it's going to be an uphill battle.
It seems like they got a lot of fire in their bellies, that is for sure. Man, getting the reverse sweep as well, that must feel really good, and the confidence must be pretty high now, knowing that Justice picked this map as well. It's clearly a map that they enjoy playing, considering how well they played it against the Gladiators, so we'll have to wait and see. I want to hark back to kind of Naga and his story, like, as an Overwatch player in general. Like, we're talking bottom of the barrel in 2018 contenders. Like, he was last place in Season 2. Like, that's crazy. And now he's just kind of slowly moving up. The Paris Eternal as well have also had a trajectory just going upwards and upwards and upwards. Started extremely slow, like Naga did in his early career. And he's slowly but surely just made his way up to these better and better and better teams. And now he is in the Overwatch League competing against some of the very best. I think a lot of people already knew he was exceptionally good when he was in contenders. So it's nice now seeing him go up against legends like Decay and performing at this level is extremely tough, and being consistent as well and not letting that mental get to you either. Yeah, you start a little bit rough in the early parts of the season, but you can just see how stalwart that mental is.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that I think I even played against at times when he was on the Copenhagen against things, etc. So he's definitely built that mental fortitude, grinding away on contenders, you know what I'm saying, Joel? So good to see him perform here. Now, the Washington Justice, as we get Route 66 started, they're actually going to keep playing the Reinhardt composition. Holding close here, you want to drag out this point A, Joel. This is why they're taking the fight early. You can get 2, maybe even 3 fights here. But they're being pushed back already by down on that Wrecking Ball, and Naga's Farah is doing work.
God, look at... can we just pay attention to Don real quick?
Oh, there it is!
He was spinning so quickly. They couldn't do anything about it at all. They don't have a Sombra, so they couldn't hack him. The best they could do is maybe wall him, stop his momentum. Oh, risky res. Fury with the Bunny Blaster. Nope. There is Naga to clean it up. That was very frustrating for the Justice. Look at Decay's ult charge, by the way. Like, it looks like he couldn't even land a shot. He was getting booped around that much and taking so much damage.
They swap over to the Wrecking Ball, Jaws. This is at least what I wanted to see, okay? This is what I wanted to see from the Washington Justice, and I think they're doing the right move here. Naga is playing this Farah. How are you going to deal with this? Maybe Assassin can get the edge of him. And also, you're not able to recontest in time on the payload here, so this is going to be the last fight for point A already. If you're the Washington Justice, you need to find these picks using Baby's Discord.
Look at the ultimates online for the Paris Eternal, though, Johnny. Naga has been discorded. He's playing rather safe. Of course, he has to. There's the pulse. Nice. Oh, it was too easy from Fury. A little 180. Gets the yeet on the pulse. Can't start off the fight well, and the solo ends up going down. Doesn't really... I mean, look at the distance that they're actually getting on the payload, though. Assassin takes out Dredro. And like you said, these discords from the Justice are going to have to be perfect. You send Assassin in, up into the sky. That is a interesting transcendence.
Yeah, they're trying to turn this with the help of Onigod.
They are.
Down, but it's not
going to get burnt down. Almost,
yeah,
and Khan's going to get taken out by McKay. That was a very risky transcendence. That looked almost unwinnable for the Paris Eternal, but Khan still commits.
The Val? They commit still. They want to go here.
They do indeed. Do they know Decay has pulse? Maybe not. Dan's going to have to play a little bit careful. Vestola 2. There's the self-destruct. Perfect time to engage. Khan ends up going down first as the pulse goes a little bit wide. Fury dodging out of the way. Not eating it this time around, but still managed to get out of dodge. Transcendence from Bebe to keep the rest of his team alive in the back line as the Justice continue to hold on this first point.
So Washington Justice at this point, they've won 2 fights and we're already 130 on the timer. Redraw's going to swap over to that Brigitte. Part of why you invest that Valak there, you know that the K is on that Tracer, you know Mag is on the Wrecking Ball. You want to swap over to the Brigitte here. Going to be interesting to see the hacks from Naga here. The flank is coming in from Onigod as well. Can they find a pick onto Baby Early? He goes down, he's discorded as well. Dangerous territory here for Washington, but Dan goes down first.
Oh, 1v1 Tracer. Decay doesn't want to take it. Dan ends up going down, like you said, and that's the Justice continuing to hold. Only a minute now remaining. The Paris Eternal, this was their map to turn the tide on Gladiators, getting the reverse sweep, but the Justice, they're halting them just before first.
I mean, look at the ults. The Decay, Assassin, Mag Fury, they all got their ultimates online. Yes, Closer had to commit that rally. You can see the armor stacked up. That's going to dissipate before the fight, of course. But this is a struggle for Paris Eternal. It's going to be last fight team territory here. Khan is going to have that Transcendence. He needs to come in clutch for his team at this very moment.
I'm very scared of Decay right now. He knows where all the supports are. Khan's going pretty low. There's the 180 pulse. Doesn't quite connect as Khan zips away. Frees himself up and manages to get out of there rather quickly. And wrong side of the map are most of the teams, and Fury gets a D-Mech kill onto Dredro. Assassin with the copy as well, forces Khan away and ends up finishing him off as well. 10 seconds to go. The Paris Eternal struggling to get anything done on this first point. Vestola D-Mech'd, killed, and that should just be it. I don't think anybody from the Paris Eternal can get back to the point in time. I mean, Naga is here, Johnny, but no sound barrier at all. Dredro gets turned to a crisp. OT ticks away, and the Paris Eternal can't even cap first. The Justice are biting back.
Oof. It's scary. It's scary when the K swaps over to that Tracer. This is really why the Washington Justice picked Route 66 to begin with. You know you have these large areas on Point A around the gas station. You can engage with the Wrecking Ball. You can go on big flanks. And if you were to commit to the Reiner composition, you'll eventually beat them down. Love the swap from the Washington Justice. And Paris Eternal now, they're finding themselves in a world where Washington Justice are getting going. Yes, Paris Eternal, you're on the verge of winning this series. Punch your ticket to the Dallas Fuel at the later stages in these knockout rounds. But the Washington Justice, they look like they've unlocked something here that could really turn this series around. I'm going to be interested to see what they decide to play here on offense. Of course, you could still play that Tracer as we take a look at Fury, of course, here. Healing for his team. There's going to be that pulse combi. Yeah. I mean, it's like he has a sixth sense, you know? Like, he knows. He just knows. And there it is again. I mean, this guy's a monster.
It's crazy.
Filthy.
Do you know what's interesting about this tank line as well, Johnny, from the Justice? Fury, very, very much a veteran on this team.
Oh, yeah.
And a veteran player, too. And now he's playing alongside Mag, one of the most hyped-up rookies into the season. Was actually voted as potentially one of the rookies of the year by a lot of the staff on each of the teams. A veteran and a rookie working side by side perfectly, and Fury never misses a beat. Never, not literal beat, but never misses an eat, I should say, on the Diva.
Oh, I love that one.
Perfect harmony from the Justice right now. And now they are, well, putting Paris in an awkward situation, Johnny.
Look at
one clean fight here could win the series, could win in the map.
Yeah, look at all this space that Paris Eternal are giving up. I mean, the Washington Justice, they're just going to push this card. And it's going to come down to last fight territory as we just kick things start here on the attack for the Washington Justice. Discords are coming around. Tries to get a hack in Naga there, but they go down low themselves. The Paris Eternal, they need to reset here. They need to compose themselves. Onigod goes down already.
Not good. Not good. Mag is discorded, but should be able to just LOS. Decay, and like you mentioned, Johnny, Tracer, extremely scary. There's the slam. Khan in trouble. Is going to get Matrix, but it doesn't matter. Assassin was right behind him. Decay and Assassin just pincering the Zenyatta. One person still on the payload as well. The Eternal have to touch, but I don't think they're going to be able to. Darn, Vestola already dead. It's only up to Onigod now to try and make something of this point. He's already burned his recall. And the Justice, they're going to tie up the series. They full hold, basically, Paris Eternal on Route 66. A map choice of their own as we head into map number 5 now.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this series is incredible. 3 first-point holds in a row, Jaws. I mean, I need to have a word with John Spector about the script, because this is unbelievable. To have this match start our day here on Knockouts Day, Summer Showdown Knockouts Day, incredible. Washington Justice being able to rely on Assassin, Sombra, and Decay Tracer to turn things around, get the momentum going. And if you're the Paris Eternal now, going into a 5th map, we'll have to see where we go, Jaws. Do you start to get worried?
Maybe. They 2-0'd the Justice on Oasis. And it's a very pendulum swinging momentum-based game mode as well. Of course, whoever caps the point first is more than likely going to win just because of how the ults work. We'll have to see how they do. We're going to map number 5. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's go to break. We'll see in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile.
Number 5 between the Justice and the Eternal Johnny. The Justice have managed to bring this back from the brink of defeat, holding first actually on Route 66, their map choice as well.
Incredible series so far. Both teams going back and forth. A lot of point A holds here. So it's been very interesting from both teams to see how they prepare against their opponents here and how they get ready. Map 5 on its way here, Jaws.
Yeah, Only God subbing out as well for Suna. So first time I'm seeing him in this series. What do you think of that, Johnny? Suna coming in, does that give a different look now to the Paris Eternal?
Yeah, so when considering Tuna, right, the coaches have talked about this openly as well. He is sort of their tracer specialist. He is who they like to field when they know they're going to commit to these tracer compositions. Now, of course, Busan, as we're heading into for our 5th map, you can play a decent chunk of tracer, but there's also going to be mecha base to work with, of course. So interesting to see if Suna is going to sit on that tracer full time against the Washington Justice team we've now seen commit to that Wrecking Ball, the tracer and the Sombra composition. Are they still going to play that? It's really all up in the air here, because neither team is really committed to the one composition. But for Suna, we know that he specializes on that tracer, so let's see what Paris Eternal brings out to start things off.
It's looking rather sunny in Busan today.
Oh yeah.
As it is in LA as well. I am boiling, Johnny. Not gonna lie. I'm rather toasty right now, and I think it's getting rather hot in the player rooms as well, I can imagine. Sweating just a little bit. The Paris Eternal, it looked like they had this series on lockdown on Route 66 before that full hold, or first hold, I should say. Not quite first, full hold. I guess that would be not having the payload move. 15 seconds also at the gate, Johnny. I mean, looks like they want to run the same kind of thing. Maybe just a TP out from the Sims. But Mag's been looking so good. Fury too. Fury on his best hero, hands down. Mag's Wrecking Ball as well. Being able to sync up with people like Decay and Assassin and get these critical picks is how they ended up winning that Route 66 as well. Getting that pick onto Khan after the pile driver came through.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I mean, Fury's already Discord orb, so Khan knows what the threat is. Both teams poking away with these trace and Wrecking Ball compositions. The K finds a pick early, that's crucial for the Washington Justice.
He finds another one too! Sooner ends up going down, just gets clipped. Not a good start for the Paris Eternal at all. Decay is an absolute menace. 3 kills for him to start this
He's
map
smiling
off.
on us.
I mean, I would be too. You got 3 kills.
I mean, if I was Tracer there, I would be smiling too. I don't blame him. You love to see it, really. But this is really interesting now, because the dynamics of the Paris Eternal. You sub in Suna for the 5th map, keep in mind. This guy's been on the bench watching the entire series, and now, in the most crucial moments of this series, you're putting in a player, he's not warmed up, he's cold, he hasn't had time to get ready. Is he going to be able to take it to Decay in this final map?
It's going to be rather tough. Upwards hill battle for sure. They're trying to punish Mag like over and over again. Discorded, hacked, everything thrown at him. Dan's now in a little bit of trouble.
Great
Look at the peel coming through from the Washington Justice. Unbelievable. There was like 17 people on top of him. Make sure he didn't take any damage. He's the Transcendence for good measure as well. There's actually, they forced the Paris Eternal to use theirs also. Another small backup here from Bebe as Closer is just shielding. Neither eat. Oh dear, this time it's for Stola though, grabbing the pulse bomb of Decay. The Justice are still in control at this point. Luckily, as the Paris Eternal, they do win the fight and they eventually rotate, but almost 50% on the board already for the Justice. A good start to downtown.
So I actually love the Transcendence there from Khan as well, because it's a great peel from the Washington Justice, but the Transcendence from Bebe doesn't come out soon enough. Fury loses his mech, but Khan recognizes that immediately, pushes his own Transcendence to make sure that his team stays alive, and then you can use that Diva mech to your advantage and be the difference maker of that fight. Suna here with the Pulse Bomb, trying to take it to Decay. Can you find a pick early on here with the Pulse Bomb to try and turn this fight early?
He does check him and actually forces Decay all the way back to the rest of his team. Mine's on point. Pile Driver 2, EMP comes out, hits 2. Mag, Decay are hacked. Bebe ends up going down as well. Fury demet. Good fight for the Paris Eternal. Quick 1-2 with the EMP and then the Pulse Bomb. Rally to follow up as well to guarantee them that fight.
Yeah, for sure. If you're the Washington Justice, though, you shouldn't feel too sad about that. Paris Eternal, they had to commit ultimates to begin with to secure that fight. That's just how it goes. Ultimates win you fights if Capitalize gets on value. Washington Justice looking for an EMP on their own here. Let's see how Assassin, if he can find any value. Mag goes up early. Oh, that's going to buy so much time. You can't afford that if you're the Washington Justice.
It's very rarely we see Wrecking Balls just get pushed off the map and then end up getting killed. I mean, that is a rather treacherous spot if you're trying to attack the point, especially if Dan is using kind of a peek over the ledge there. Using his ball form, you go into third person, of course.
Oh no.
Okay, Naga is dead. That's not good. EMP engagement now for Assassin, maybe.
Okay, so it's all about Khan here, really, because Assassin, he's going to come in with his EMP, trying to secure it. Early engagement from Paris Eternal. Self-destruct comes out, rally to counter it, but it's all on Khan here. Can this Transcendence help them out towards an EMP?
Nice bit of peel. There's the Transcendence, but still, Assassin sitting on this EMP. Decay with the Pulse Bomb as well. They're ready to rock and roll. Sooner ends up going down first in the fight. And now the Washington Justice know they are a little bit more free, or at least their backline is, to play a bit more aggressive. EMP still online for Assassin, doesn't want to blow it out just yet. There you go. It's only a solo. Oh no, triple EMP even. Hits Redro, Vestola, and Dan. Pulse Bomb lobbed in for good measure. Ends up picking up Naga. Overtime is here, yes, for the Paris Eternal, but the Justice ends up getting the flip. And they got a couple of ults to spare as well for this next fight, Johnny.
Yes, they do. Good execution from the Washington Justice there. The EMP comes out and secures the fight, so they're going to be missing that as we get closer to the final fight of this round. 62% and counting for the Washington Justice. Maybe you can find 2 team fights here in this span of time. We see the flank come in from Naga. He's going to have this EMP up first. So it's all about the mind games between Bebe's Transcendence and Naga's EMP.
Sooner is having a rough time here, Johnny. He's getting discorded constantly. Decay is just coming chasing. There you go. He's
that's
dead.
dreadful.
Yeah. Really bad time to die. Naga has EMP though, but like you said, dance with death between him and Bebe.
Absolutely, and Naga here trying to scout, gets detected. Ooh. Oh, now he has to transfer kid out. 90% accounting. Naga could get picked here.
Beautiful
he actually
peel.
Survives barely, but Suna goes down. This is
unbelievable peel.
You find that pick. 99%. Someone has to charge. Vestola's going to be the man. Mines come out from Washington Justice, but you need to find a big EMP here. Here it comes.
Naga. Here it comes. There's the self-destruct get launches out. Naga's way too late, Johnny. The fight's already over, mate. The EMP, it lands on 3, but it doesn't matter because the rest of your team's already dead. He was way too slow to that engagement, Johnny. And the Justice, they just walk it in.
That's unbelievable. Decay able to spot out Naga early, forces him away, forces it to translocate, and yes, Naga survives that. But the Washington Justice, they know there is no EMP available. Naga, he cannot translocate in to secure that fight for his team, and that is when Washington Justice, they push the tempo. Mines come out on towards the point from Mag as well, shuts down Vestola. That's when you push the gas really and you secure that fight. Naga didn't have a chance. He couldn't get his translocate in order to get that EMP out. Beautiful stuff from the Washington Justice, really. Decay able to scout out Naga there, of course. But now as we head towards Mecha Base, that round is in the past. Paris Eternal actually going to stick here because they have Tsuna in, right? They can't move over to the runner comp instead. So it's Washington Justice here. What work can they get done with Decay's Symmetra teleporter here?
Vestola's playing the Sigma as well. This is going to be a very frustrating thing to deal with the rocks and the CC, but they can just run him over. Nice boot from Fury. Off the map goes Khan. Dredro to follow as well as he turned into Jam. Vestola also falls. It seems like such a good comp for the Justice, Johnny. Vestola's basically a sitting duck.
But this is exactly
onto Suna too.
This is exactly what happened in their match against the LA Gladiators yesterday. It came down to the final round between the Gladiators and Washington Justice, and they came out with this Reiner composition, playing the Symmetra. They caught the Gladiators off guard, and it's now catching the Paris Eternal off guard. This is where, if you're the Paris Eternal, you need to rely on your disc orbs. You need to find these picks early. But instead, it's the Washington Justice. They're the one pushing the tempo. They're the ones getting into the face of Paris Eternal, and they secure another team fight victory for themselves here.
A small reprieve, though, for the Eternal. They do manage to deny a little bit of percent from the Justice, but look at the ult banks. Look at them comparatively. Bebe's going to have the window up online. Assassin Decay, everybody's going to use that for amped damage, which means more ult charge. The Justice are sitting in such a nice position. And remember, they only qualified once. They qualified to the main melee, undefeated in the qualifiers, and then had a massive slump in the June Joust, going 1-3. So this really is their redemption for what happened in the June Joust. Oh my word! Khan just lasered down. He does end up getting boot. Just very selfishly uses the immortality field, but I'm going to be real with you. If you're finding kills like this, Johnny, use it on yourself 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, the Paris Eternal. They look unprepared. They don't know how to deal with this. You can see Washington Justice taking no prisoners, finding picks early. They got 5 ultimates coming online for this next fight as well. Assassin with that Blizzard. Dan is going to contest this point early, trying to get the flanks around. You can see Tsuna trying to flank around there, but the Washington Justice, they're not going to care. They can just engage with the Shatter, kick things off.
EMP is pretty big, but can they get anything done? Mag is fine. He's just sitting in Immortality field, Johnny. The Blizzard's going to help protect them as well. The beat comes through. Oh my word, this is just a slaughter. The Justice, they're painting the Paris Eternal their own colors. They're painting them red, Johnny. They're leaving no survivors. 85% now on the board. They're about to take the series.
The Washington Justice, we talked about them in the Summer Showdown. If they're able to get their things in order, they could be a team that is really scary. And now 94% comes down to the final fight here for the Washington Justice. Can they punch their ticket to the match against the Dallas Fuel later today?
They killed Khan already. This is bad news, bears. Dan is already dead. The Paris Eternal, they have no healers remaining. They're going to try and get onto the point. Fury is hacked, yes, but would it matter in the end? Of course not. Mag misses the shatter, but Fury lays out the bomb. It looks as good as done. Closer does end up going down, and there's trickling members now on the point for the Paris Eternal. Dridro, final hope now with this rally. He does manage to pop it without going instantly down, but they still need to be able to juggle point control. Bebe also falls, so now maybe a little bit more winnable. Decay is going to get hacked as well, forced away. Sooner chases him down as Dridro ends up falling for the Paris Eternal, and they're still trying to deal with this Reinhardt. Somehow, some way, Johnny, they've made it back into this fight. The kill onto Bebe was worth it, and Dridro managed to get that rally off in time. Khan ends up going down as well. It's a 3v1. Assassin has Blizzard, but knows he doesn't need to use it. Paris Eternal, they find the flip. A miracle. A miracle, Johnny, keeping themselves in the series and in the knockouts.
Unbelievable fight from the Paris Eternal, able to keep themselves in that. It all looked like it was the Washington Justice advancing, but they're still not there. And now Naga with the EMP as well. Closer doesn't have a sound barrier. He can't protect his team. This is all about the engage from the Paris Eternal.
There's the EMP. It hits for Immortality Field, used though super early from Bebe. So 3 people were saved rather quickly. Decay, unfortunately, a little bit out of position, ends up going down to Naga. But Justice know they can just wait it out. They wait for Decay to spawn, and then they run it in. They run it home. They have beat online almost, and they have that Blizzard coming up as well.
So, if you're the Washington Justice, you're going to teleport up here, you're going to try to find this pick on the Vestola. You need to keep yourself alive. Assassin has this Blizzard's boot. Dan is going to use the minefield as well, trying to find any picks. They've got this zone now. Closer commits the sound barrier as well. Fury does lose his mech. This is not good for the Washington Justice.
Assassin lobs the ultimate out as well. There's the shadow, doesn't quite find all too much. Bebe ends up actually going down to Dan in the background.
The pin?
Fury's actually trying to just contest the point right now, and Decay and Mag just run through the rest of the Paris Eternal as Dan and Dridro are trying to fight on the point. Yes, they kill Fury, but will it be enough? It's going to have to be another miracle, but they haven't really got any ults online. A boop onto the ball, and this should just be it. OT ticking down. They do have Vestola to, again, cycle himself on point and get the touch, but he gets instantly demeched. Decay is too high charge, Johnny. They can't get it. They can't get him down. The ball once more just swinging himself back in. Khan ends up falling to Mag. Once more, it looks inevitable for the Justice to win. The EMP comes out. It takes down the wall and Bebe as well. 5-man EMP, but it doesn't matter because the Justice find the W. They now face the Dallas Fuel a little bit later today. The Paris Eternal so close to taking this series. But the Justice swipe it away from them at the last second.
Unbelievable match, Jaws. From both teams, really. I mean, if you're the Paris Eternal, you put on such a great performance against this powerful Washington Justice team. Back-to-back on Point A, on Hollywood, Route 66, Hanamura, of course. But in the end, it's going to be the Washington Justice. With their versatility, out of all things, Jaws, it doesn't come down to the individual skill. Of course, Decay popped off on the Tracer, but being able to play this Reinhardt composition on the mecha base, having that versatility in the hero pool from your players, turned out to be crucial for Washington, and they're the ones advancing to that later knockout match against the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, they really took advantage of the Paris Eternal on that very last map when the Paris Eternal ran out with the Wrecking Ball, the Sigma. The Washington Justice just managed to TP on top of them, just make use of the mobility that Decay provided on the Sim. I mean, yeah, like you said, popped off on the Tracer, but his Symmetra TPs were just so well placed. Very hard for the Paris Eternal to get anything done, and the Justice, they've got a big match ahead of them later on, Johnny, against the Dallas Fuel.
Absolutely. I do want to bring it back to what I think will be one of the stories for this match here, Jaws. Suna, of course, being subbed in for map 5, playing that Tracer, and you saw the Paris Eternal. We know them as a versatile team as well. They're able to play the Reinhardt compositions when they want to, but because they subbed in Suna they found way more success on that Tracer instead, but it was not what they really needed on the mecha base. And instead, Washington Justice, they have that compositional advantage. So, you know, we'll have to think about if the Paris Eternal coaching staff might be kicking themselves there a little bit. It seemed as though on Route 66 that the story of the game was going to be the Tracer Sombra mirror. But at the end of the day, the Washington Justice, they throw Paris Eternal for a bit of a loop and come out on top with the round composition in the end.
Yeah, I actually just got word from production as well, Johnny, that because of the 3 burst holds that we had in that series, that was actually the quickest 5-map series ever, Johnny. So, yeah, it may have looked like a long one, but 3 full holds, or fuller holds almost. I mean, hey, that is pretty quick. Ridiculous, honestly. Ridiculous all round. It does look like as well, what a surprise we're going to give this player of the match to is Fury. Oh my word, this guy, you talk about versatility, he doesn't really need to be that versatile when his diva is just this world class. The amount of blizzard, pulse bombs, just every kind of ult imaginable that is thrown out, he was eating them. Johnny, the Excellency player of the match, is going to go to Fury. And Route 66 was an incredibly important one too. The amount of times he denied Onigod with these pulse bombs was unreal.
Yeah, and you talked about it. I love the point you hit on that map as well. That Fury, he's a bit of a leader for this team. You know, you got a bunch of rookies coming in. Mag, of course, being the big main tank star coming up from contenders this year, potentially a Rookie of the Year candidate. You have Decay, Assassin, another rookie as well. But Fury, he is a bit of a leadership figure for this team. Of course, he won the 2018 Overwatch League Finals with the London Spitfire. So in this new team, the Washington Justice, trying to fit all these pieces together, Fury comes in clutch here in the elimination match, secures those pulse bomb beats for his team, which eventually turned this series around a little bit and made sure the Washington Justice caught the momentum.
Yeah, there you go. You can see there, ultimates negated, 5 total.
That's unreal. That's unreal, mate.
Which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And Fury and Mag, I mentioned it, you mentioned it just then, the rookie and the veteran playing alongside each other. They look quite unstoppable at this point. And I want to cast my mind back a little bit, Johnny, earlier on in the season when they're actually playing Jerry a lot more. Decay wasn't really seen that much, but it looks like they can find success with either or. Yes, they're a bit of a pendulum swinging team, going from very good, you know, making the May Melee quals, going through the May Melee qualifiers even, 4-0, and then not doing so hot in the June Chows, going 1-3, but it seems like they're back to their old ways again.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do want to give credit to Decay as well, actually, because generally when we think of Decay, yeah, he's this superstar that pops off, has this beautiful montage highlight moment, playing that Tracer, of course, like he did, and really, you know, set the standard for the Washington Justice on Busan. But also, I think his Symmetra play was pretty solid throughout the series. There were some nice teleporters from the Washington Justice on Hollywood, for example, when they called out Vestola, his Symmetra waltz on Hanamura. I think we have to rethink the way we think about Decay, because even though, yes, they sub in Jerry sometimes to play those long-range hit-scan heroes that we think Decay can play as well, he's got the smarts to bring it when it comes to some of these heroes like Symmetra as well. That's about the mind games and being able to gain a positional advantage over your opponent as well.
Yeah, it seems to be a master of all, including some of those niche heroes too. We're going to jump to a quick break though, guys. You can grab yourself a drink, a snack, whatever you want to do. Just cool down after that 5-map series. We got another banger coming up soon though. Do not go anywhere.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break presented by Cheez-It Grooves. We're joined now by Assassin from Washington Justice. Assassin, congratulations on the win today. 아스린 선수 오늘 승리 너무나 축하드리면서 이제 넉아웃전에 이제 두 번째 라운드로 넘어가신 거 너무나 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Alright, so this match was very back and forth all the way up to map 5. What were some of the stuff or things that worked for the Washington Justice, and what were some of the things that didn't work? And also for the things that didn't work, how were you able to overcome those difficulties and clutch the win at the end? 첫 번째 질문은 이제 오늘 경기가 어떻게 보면 굉장히 접전이었어요. 파리를 상대로 다섯 번째 맵까지 끝까지 가게 되셨는데 경기가 그걸 이렇게 경기를 하면서 어세신 선수가 보셨기에 좀 잘 된 거가 있다면, 그래서 또 생각보다 좀 힘든 것들이 있었다면 뭐가 있을까요?
잘 된 거라면 저희가 게임 시작하기 전에 픽에 관해서 어떻게 할지가 잘 됐던 것 같고요. 파리랑 했을 때는 좀 힘들었던 건 저희가 괜히 맞조합을 잘하는데 괜히 다른 조합을 해서 힘들게 갔었던 것 같아요. 그것 때문에.
이게 원래 미러전은 괜찮은데 다른 거를 하려고 해서 좀 힘들었던 것 같다?
네.
네, 알겠습니다. Alright, so what worked for us? Before the match, we were talking about picks or what heroes what we were going to run, and I believe throughout the match that sort of worked out. It sort of flowed how we wanted to go, so that really worked for us. What didn't work, however, is sort of on the same page. I think we were just in our heads. You know, when it came down to the mirror matchups, we had the upper hand. We were playing better, but we just sometimes, you know, we sort of thought a little bit too much about it, and we wanted to change our comps, and that's when we sort of had the difficulties. If we had just played went up with the mirror match, I feel like we would have had an easier time for the team fights. All right, moving on to the second question. Your next opponent is none other than the Dallas Fuel, the #1 seed team in the tournament currently, and I'm guessing it is not going to be an easy match. How can the Washington Justice cause an upset and punch a ticket to Hawaii? 자, 두 번째 질문은 이제 다음 경기 달라스 퓨얼 팀과 1위, 지금 저희 이제 이번 토너먼트의 1위 팀이죠. 달라스 팀과의 경기가 있으실 텐데, 제 생각으로 또 많은 분들도 아마 저랑 공감하실 것 같아요. 그렇게 쉽지만은 않은 경기가 될 것 같습니다. 그럼에도 불구하고 어떻게 하면은 워싱턴 팀이 달라스를 꺾고 하와이로 갈 수 있을까요?
댈러스는 뭐 맨날 하던 윈스턴 디바 쪽 계열이기 때문에 또 저희가 또 맞조합을 잘하다 보니까 맞 윈디에서 딜러든 탱커든 힐러든 뭔가 저희가 더 세다 생각하기 때문에 그쪽으로 하면 뭐 쉽게 이기지 않을까 생각합니다.
Right, I think you know, Dallas is a team that sort of relies heavily on the Winston Diva or Winston Dive composition, and like I said, we're really confident when it comes to mirror matchups, and I do believe that we have better players on every role, DPS, tank lineup, or even the support. So going up against Dallas, if we mirror their matchups, I'm confident that we could clutch the win against Dallas Fuel and go to Hawaii. All right, with that being said, thank you so much, Assassin, for your time and for the interview, and good luck against Dallas. 인터뷰에서 너무 감사드리고 다음 경기 달라스와의 경기 꼭 승리하시길 기도하겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Alright, let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Danny. Congratulations to Assassin and his entire team. My, Danny, how wrong you were. No, okay, I'm just kidding. That was honestly, it was such a...
You were just doing that all throughout the whole match. I was like, oh, but you know.
So did
I'm not
you
mad.
though. So you know, just saying, we there's some places with.
It was fun.
All in good fun though, absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, this could have gone either way. They played it very, very close, and whenever that happens, I'm just never sure where to go with an analysis. Are we complimenting the defense? Are we offended at the offense? Is it not mutually exclusive and everything was just bad, or was everything good? Like, where are we at with this?
I mean, it's both, right? I think, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think, you know, I think we heard that this is the shortest ever map 5 series, right? And it really did feel that way. I think the attack was good on both sides, but like, at the same time, defense, you know, they weren't as good. I think that's why the series went so fast. At the end, Washington Justice clutched the win, and like Assassin said, I feel like, you know, they did have the upper hand in mirror matches, and sometimes when they're having the team fight, Washington sort of try to out-comp Paris Eternal, and that's when they were sort of having struggles. But again, at the end, my biggest takeaway was Fury is really good on Tifa, and Assassin and Decay on Tracer and Sombra. They're pretty unstoppable, so that was very good for them. On the other hand, I did pick Paris Eternal, and you know I don't want to say that they did a poor job because they played amazingly. I really want to compliment Onigod. Onigod was a standout player for me personally, and you know unfortunately this is the end for them for Summer Showdown, but I'm really excited to see more of them for the Countdown Cup.
It's one thing I want to touch on here, Costa. Subbing in Onigod for the very last map and bringing in another player, that's a risky move. Right.
Yeah, and Johnny hit this on the broadcast, and rightfully so. It is very hard. I've actually been in that situation where you haven't played the entire series and you get thrown in cold for map 5. It's a very dangerous thing to do. So I think Suna played fine. I don't think that is by any means the reason the Paris Eternal fell, but you got to be careful when you're making those kind of decisions. So it didn't work out for them, but I think Paris Eternal played a great match, and this is the first time they've made like the playoffs and made waves. So onto the Countdown Cup. Maybe they'll go that one step further next time.
Yeah, let's actually take a look at the brackets to see where we stand right now after this series. The Washington Justice are moving up in the world. They will be facing off against the Dallas Fuel. Is that a reward? Is it a punishment? We're going to find out very soon. Now, our next match will decide the second matchup. We're going to see, no, rather the third. Jesus, counting. 1, 2, 3. The fourth match we're going to see today. Wow. I'm so impressed. Anyway, I want to talk about that match. Boston. Look, I think they should be considered the underdog coming into here. And that's not to say that they had a bad Summer Showdown, like at all. They had a great scoreline. They got the victories. They played really well. However, if we're looking at their most recent matches against the Houston Outlaws, it was lights out. They came in with that dive, completely caught Houston Outlaws off guard. Like they were in struggle town, Houston that is. Now they went up against Atlanta in their next match, and kind of a different story. Atlanta saw it coming from miles away and shut it down fairly quickly, and Boston didn't really adjust. Now the big question is, what is Boston going to run out with today? Do you expect to see more of the same, or are they going back to something else?
That becomes the question, right? Because Boston's match against Atlanta wasn't particularly close. So the Gladiators have an enormous sample size to work with of what works, what doesn't work. There should be pretty clear counters against the Boston Uprising if you are the Gladiators, but I don't even think it was strategy that the Boston Uprising fell to. I think it was just individual performances. They didn't show up yesterday. They didn't play well against the Atlanta Reign. So for me, it's which Boston Uprising is going to show up. Are they going to be able to play on that individual level? Danny hit on it in the pre-show. IM37 had an incredible performance against Houston Outlaws, but went missing against the Atlanta Reign. That could be, the same thing could be said for a lot of the players on Boston. So I want to see them come out and play the same thing. I want to see them play confident, play their dive style like they did against Houston, because that is where they're going to get the wins. They just need to show up today. If Boston can show up, I think they can actually easily take the win against the Gladiators. But do the Gladiators have anything to say about it? That is the real question.
Easily, all right.
Easily.
All right, calm down over there. But to be fair,
Houston, they can do it to the Gladiators.
Yeah, when they played against Houston, like if you want to go back and watch that, it was complete like hive mind and individual pop-offs. Like they were just so on the same page. I think we've never seen anything like it from the Boston Uprising. So they have to bring this kind of game in their match against the Gladiators today. Now, of course, this is crunch time for both teams, but especially for the Gladiators. We're heading into this crunch time presented by Cheesy Groups because Hawaii is on the line, and at this time they're on the opposite side of the bracket from Dallas Reinforced.
Yeah, last time in the June Just, of course, it was the LA Gladiators who were one of the favorites actually to walk away and punch a ticket to Hawaii, but instead Dallas Fuel were in their way, as you said. So Dallas Fuel, of course, who have been the best team in North America, but now the LA Gladiators, they have an opportunity, perhaps an easier road to the stage playoffs. First now taking on the Boston Uprising.